Hello, I'm John Proxon, son of John West. I'm having a Danganronpa 2. Goodbye, despair adventure. It's another class trial. It's gonna start. But how are we supposed to get to the trial ground? You're right. We can't do anything unless we get out of this building. Kenny, did something happen? No, well, do you guys hear something? Hear something? So I hear something. What do you think this? Suddenly, as if cutting off Chiaki, our surroundings started to shake and rumble. And then it suddenly appeared before us. And they all died. So what? No! Oh, I didn't do full screen. Sorry, I didn't realise that would fade away. Is he telling us to go inside from here? Seems that way. Akane died while it came up. Fuyuhiko's gone as well. Oh no, she's fine. I'm gonna go. Just hold on, Nakamura. I'll make sure I'll avenge her. Jeez. At least be a little cautious. It's obviously a trap. I agree. I detect the scent of danger. Even my familiars are saying, do not go inside. How interesting. You can kill me. You're welcome to try. Try stabbing your sword through my very heart. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. Now then, we shall get moving as well. Get moving. You're right. It's annoying, but if Miss Sonia's going, then there's no way I'm not gonna go. Ah, but it's so damn annoying. I guess it doesn't matter if it's a trap or not. One by one, everyone went into Monokuma Rock. Until I was the only one left, when I was about to take a step forward. We're the same. The same step ladders. Huh? Nagato was suddenly standing next to me with his eyes locked onto Monokuma Rock. Other than the small movements of his mouth, he was perfectly still. You and I are just step ladders. For everyone who holds the title of Ultimate, I always believed that I didn't mind. Unlike you, I know my place. What are you saying? That's why I was prepared to become a sacrifice at any time. And from that, true hope would be born. I always believed that the talent that survived would be true hope. But it wasn't. There is no hope amidst all this killing. Of course there isn't. What kind of hope comes from killing people? Really? Are you suggesting that sacrificing others for hope isn't real hope? Yes? But you're wrong. It's only natural and extremely obvious that strong hope devours weak hope. After all, that's what it means to live, right? There's no way I'm going to accept that. Oh well, it's not like that's what I wanted to say to you anyway. There's this one novel I like. It's a particular mystery story. Huh? A novel? The story is told from the point of view of a high school girl involved in a serial killer mystery. But when you get to the end, it turns out it was her. Surprise, surprise. The girl was actually the killer. Alright. Because what the game's doing here is planting the idea that the main character could be the traitor, right? Which is something I said already. And that he wiped his memory. Purposely, so he could be an innocent party. The game has established that that's how that works. Mikan was innocent until she remembered. So the main character could do the same thing as well. In fact, now the game's also established that we can switch perspectives to Nagato. And Nagato is very, very much like the main character of the first game, but crazy. Now, the reason I bring this up now is because if the game's doing this on purpose to confuse me, then that aligns with my other idea, which is The game wants me to think that Nekomaru killed himself because that would imitate the first game in such a way that all the killers have been imitations of the first game. But I'm suggesting it is setting me up in the same way that imitation was a setup for that murder. If it's doing that, that's really clever. It's really good writing. It's good mechanisms for writing. This game's a little silly, right? But I like the mechanism of introducing these ideas together as well. I'm going to review all the evidence, but I still think Gundam did it. I don't think Nekomaru killed himself so everyone could eat. I think that would be too obvious an idea. It's too obvious. It's never the obvious first idea, is it? It almost looped once though, when it was implied that Fujihiko sort of could have done it, but then it took it back, so it didn't loop. Of course, the story's written carefully so the reader doesn't learn the ending in the middle of the story. The other possibility the reason this is here is so it can do this as a flashback, right? We're witnessing a flashback before it flashes back. Because maybe I'm right about both. Maybe Gundam's the killer, and maybe Hajime is the traitor. Which, again, ideas I had already, but what would be happening is... here's the other thing. He's doing Byakuya. In the first game, Byakuya was sure that it wasn't a suicide. He was sure that Aoi did it. So if this guy is sure that actually it was suicide, then it turns out it wasn't, then that's reflecting the first game still. But then what the game's done is it's put the two statements, he thinks the traitor is me, and the statement he thinks the suicide was a murder, sorry, the other way around. It's saying they're both unreliable, really only one of them's unreliable? Now, he did say earlier that I'm definitely not the traitor, but this lie, he lies by the way as well, and has done consistently throughout the entire game. And let's not forget, he literally orchestrated the first murder. Like, I feel like the game has forgotten that. It was heavily implied he planned all of that, right? That he wasn't going to kill anyone, it was always going to be, he did that so the guy would copy and do the murder thing. And he knew that that Byakuya would prevent him from murdering Nagato. Anyway. The protagonist is just a projection of the reader, and the projection turns out to be the killer. Which means the killer you were looking for the whole time was inside you all along. How do you feel about novels like that? What the heck are you talking about? You're just jumping from one topic to another. And I can't comment on a book that I've never read before. Such a normal answer. I should have expected that from a talentless, reserve course student like you. Nah. But I know that you don't matter at all, so why do I care about you? You admire hope. I love hope. In some ways we're similar, but maybe that difference is what's making me so emotional. Enough already. I don't have time to argue with you. Let's go. Everyone is waiting. Everyone, huh? So you still believe you're just like everyone else? Reserve course students are so full of themselves. Nagato's chilling laugh. No, that was a lovely laugh by me. A chilling laugh continued as he disappeared into the Monokuma Rock. Calm down. That's right. I need to calm down. I took several deep breaths. And once my nerves had settled, I stepped into Monokuma Rock. The elevator shook violently as it descended at an ever-increasing speed. We're in a normal elevator that shakes this bad. It reminds me of how efficient that elevator in the Funhouse was. Yeah, that's probably true. The elevator continued to shake and descended deeper and deeper. And suddenly, it stopped, like it always does. And the door opened. I understand your desire to applaud this wonderfully vulgar trial ground. But it's so exhausting to discuss useless things, so let's just get on with it already. I'm so sad. My chest hurts. Forcing everyone to do this is so sad. Don't go talking without permission after I've said my catchphrase. Otherwise, I'll roll a dice and I'll roll a die, and based on that result, I'll give you a sex change operation that many times. Well, like back and forth? Or are you gonna, like, come up with new ones? What an extreme punishment! Let us get on with it once again. Let's get a move on, boys and girls! Right, so for the first 10 minutes of this episode, I would have added background music to it, because my recording software decided to break and not include the game audio. That's since been fixed. You should probably hear this song playing right now. Sorry about that. I'm glad I caught it before any voice acting actually happened, so let's continue. There you go. Sound effects. Wonderful. And so it begins. I hoped this would never happen again. Now it's happening for the 4th time. The curtain to the 4th class trial was about to open. I have to check the other video. I'll worry about that later. Nekamaru Nadai, the ultimate team manager. He was more passionate, more daring, more honest than anyone I'd ever met. Just going to move my face just in case, because sometimes these trials don't have a lot of CG in them, and I like to use them for the front covers of the episodes. Truly, he was more man than any of us. He sacrificed his body to protect Akane, and his appearance changed drastically because of that. But he still tried to live earnestly. Just when I finally got used to his new form, Nekamaru's killer is one of us. Killing someone because it's the only way to survive is no excuse. I won't let this be excused. I won't forgive this. The person who betrayed Nekamaru, who betrayed their friends, I will never, ever forgive them. And so, this life-threatening trial, billowing with hope and despair, has begun. Well, I recently saved, but sure, I'll save again. Okay. Let's go for the truth bullets. The victim is Nekamaru Nadai, aka Mekamaru, of his robotic transformation. His body was discovered in Great Tower. So green is the last state it was. So I have to assume that you watched the last episode, because otherwise it's a really weird time to start. But it's my contention that the tower moves or turns. And I was asked, so instead of the tower being in the centre and there being 2 entrance halls, the entrance halls are either like next to each other or in a different angle, and the entrance spins. Anyway, his head is damaged severely damaged and beyond repair, so that shall be considered the cause of death. Despite the fact that his arms and legs are dismembered, these limbs are actually designed to be detachable. I think it's interesting. And it seems they separated due to a severe impact. Aside from that, several other areas of his body are damaged because of this. Many of his functions have seem to have shut down. So what's important there is his clock. Would have stopped moving. We'll see, actually. Yeah, hang on. There's a whole bunch of stuff there, so it's hard. So, Nekomaru's body and left leg were tied with a metal wire. The tip of that wire was also tied into a loop. That's interesting. It's not the leg that had fallen off. See, sometimes I go into this going, oh, I know this, I know this, I know this. And I don't know. I don't think he could have tied himself up, though. Yeah, of course he can. You can tie yourself... I could tie myself up back. I could tie myself up. The good night button. So, I was assuming he didn't even know he was kidnapped. Like, he was asleep and then killed while he was asleep. All on the floor. Tip of the pillar, like I assumed he was thrown into the pillar and that caused the crash noise. There's a new looking hammer, I assume that wasn't involved at all. Maybe it was used for fake evidence or something. Chain. So he never would have been able to open that anyway. There has to be the killer. Okay. Would he have been able to get in after smashing all the things? Well, yeah. If he'd gone through the room, he could have. Canning heard the rumbling at 5:30, but all the clocks were wrong. A lot of small pieces of stone were scattered underneath Nekomaru's body, however there were no fragments on the top of his body. So he couldn't have smashed into the pillar. Because the pillar came down before him. Yeah, if he was smashed into the pillar, if he was thrown into the pillar... then he would have landed on top of the level. Apparently Fuyuhiko saw Nekomaru walking towards the first floor of Sugary House at 5 AM. But that time was a lie, right? That 5 AM and the 5:30 AM are lies. Wall clock. At 5:30 AM, the alarm wall clock in the lounge at the Strawberry Hall's second floor started going off. Fuyuhiko was at the lounge by coincidence and managed to stop the alarm, but Kazuchi and Gundam rushed to the lounge after being alerted by the sound. However, Nagato was apparently the only one who didn't hear it, because he was in a this is why I think it's Gundam. This, I think, is the damning evidence for me, because we know it's not Nagato. We just know. Well, we know it's not him because we controlled his character. Although the game literally just told us, oh, did you know there's stories exist where the killer's the main character, and they write it in such a way that they don't inform that event. But that's subterfuge, right? The game's going to bring this up one more time here to make us assume that that's where the reason why they brought it up in the first place. That we'll dismiss the point as something only related to this case. Because that's something I didn't mention. The reason I didn't re-record the episode as well. Because sometimes, usually if I record 6 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes and realise, oh, the sound's broken, I would just load up the game and record it again. But I just kind of like the commentary did. I think I explained a lot of things and I just didn't want to do it again. One thing I missed, one thing I forgot to say, and oh god, I've spoken for so long I've forgotten the point I was making. Oh god! Oh no, what was the point I was making? About the alarm clock. About the alarm clock. Nagato being a false lead for this one. No. God damn it, I've forgotten the point I was making. Oh, John. Sometimes you just talk for too long. Nagato was apparently the only one who didn't hear it. Well, I mean... Yeah, the reason why Gundam's the killer is because Gundam shouldn't have been able to hear the alarm in the soundproof room. Like, I'm pretty sure one of the girls didn't hear the rumble because she was in the soundproof room as well. So, like, he certainly... That's not the point I was going to make, though. The one that I got grumpy about forgetting. There's something. What did this inspire me to think about Nagato? It's gone. It's gone, sorry. It wasn't relevant to the case. It was relevant to the meta story of everything. Contact elevator. Contact elevator used to move between both houses was broken and no longer worked. It was apparently broken at the Grape House side, so the last person to use it would have arrived at Grape House. Okay. Strawberry Hall's button. The button in Strawberry Hall that leads to the door leading to the tower is broken. Nagato can move between red and blue without using the things. Possibly by just going past the do not pass sign. Kazuchi says the elevator spins 180 degrees. Clocks. So he died, or at least he was broken at 7:30. That would have to be 7:30 at night? Because they were all asleep longer than they thought they were, because they were all hungry. The radio clock is very precise. Broken doorknob means he tried getting out. So the ultimate weapon could just be control of the tower room or something. He tried to escape, like he tried to escape and couldn't. He pulled that off, right? Nakamaru. Strange feeling in the tower, well that's, I explained that one before. Right, that's... I've got 6. What's the thing I die on? Well, insult. John, do you even have space for these? Yes, yes you do. Cool, let us begin. Class trials start. All right.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
I'm not pressing the button because I want the I want it to keep spinning. Okay. Oh no. Did you see what I saw? Oh, hang on. He's by himself. Where's the princess? I just want a full rotation. Like he's got a knife and fork. Oh no. Okay, this is a foolish reason. I've already chosen Gundam, by the way. So it's too late for me to change my mind. I mean, I can, obviously. And, you know, I will say. She's got a cross as well. She's got like a, she's a Doctor Cross. Do the murderers all get unique ones? Okay. In the first game, they were all standing alone. And if Gundam, if Akane dies, if Akane were to suddenly die, then no one would be standing next to anyone anymore. They'd all be standing next to portraits. I want to see what Pekayama's cross looks like. Okay, is that a special one? I thought it'd be swords. Alright, never mind.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. I'm sure you guys are starving by now, but let's get revved up and raring to go!
You gave us some food, so...
Whoever survives will be treated to a fancy lunch. Guess what? Rabbit curry is on the menu.
Huh? I'm not the main ingredient, right?
No, because you're a soft toy.
I'm here today because Coach Nekomaru risked his life to protect me. I'm gonna be the one who avenges him. I'll definitely find out who the killer is.
So they're doing it on purpose, right? She's definitely a reference to Aoi, and they're doing it on purpose.
I'm definitely not tempted by curry. Got it?
Akane, you seem to have an impressive amount of drool flowing from your mouth.
How much drool would be an impressive amount of drool? This is gross, but I once hurt my throat. I don't know how I did it. I genuinely ever, but I couldn't swallow saliva, so I had to just keep dribbling. And you might be thinking, I was hypersalivating as well, so it was just constant. But like, I didn't even go to the doctors. But like, I couldn't sleep. Like, you can't. Like, so I had to sleep with a cup, basically, a towel and a cup, and sort of so it was really gross. But that is that's an impressive amount of drool. Also, I'm sorry for telling you that.
Hey, why don't we try going over the incident?
I'm so glad I figured out sound before they started talking.
We weren't able to leave Strawberry House, so I want to make sure we get a detailed understanding.
I discovered Nekomaru's body a little before 7 a.m. I headed over to Grape Tower from Monokuma Taichi and found the body there. Hajime and Chiaki were also with me.
Hajime was with Miss Sonia and Chiaki that early in the morning? Don't tell me you three were together since last night!
Imbecile! I am not some woman with flexible legs.
I don't know, we've seen you do Tai Chi.
Of course you're not. You're much classier than that.
With legs like those, I could probably do the splits real easy.
Me and Akane apparently think similar.
We just happened to run into each other on the first floor of Grape House and went to the tower together.
So, is that a Power Ranger talking? Is that, oh, I've forgotten his name. Vash the Stampede. And, bloody guy from Bleach.
And then, the three of us discovered Nekomaru's body.
Like, I didn't... it's really hard to tell that Ichigo and Vash are the same voice actor, because Ichigo spends all his time shouting, just goes, I'm angry, just constantly, and Vash the Stampede's kind of happy, so like their voices never cross, apart from episode 1 of Bleach, where you can hear it if you know, but because he's doing a voice, he's talking like this constantly, which for some reason I don't do. I just do my normal voice for him. I insist on doing the voice for Nagato.
The body discovery announcement was made soon after. Akane heard that and rushed over.
We heard the body discovery announcement too, from Strawberry House, obviously. As I recall, we found out the elevator was out of order, which left us stuck.
So we decided to go to the tower for the time being and headed for Strawberry Hall. But someone even broke Strawberry Hall's door button. We couldn't go anywhere because of that.
Thinking we should at least find some method to communicate, we set our sights on the lounge telephone.
Forget these boring intros. Let's talk about the killer. Anyway, it's definitely someone from Strawberry House.
What do you mean, definitely?
There's no way a chick would kill someone so cruelly. So it must be one of you Strawberry House dudes. One of you better hurry up and confess, or I'll break all of you in half!
You're the cruelest one here!
Now, enough with the lovers' quarrel. We need to think about this seriously. We don't have the luxury of discussing irrelevant things. The incident this time has many questions.
The incident notwithstanding, I also have many questions.
Then let's start with something even Miss Sonia can understand. The weapon. Well, the weapon is obvious, right?
He's so cocky. What did he learn that made him cocky? Oh, yes! But I remembered. If he is the main character from the first game, he might have found that out. That'd give him a reason to be cocky. Why have I forgotten his name?
What the heck, you guys? The weapon! You could totally tell just by looking.
You can tell what the weapon is just by looking? It wouldn't be much of a mystery if that were true. The only thing at the crime scene that looked like a weapon was probably... Make your argument. Yeah, we know it wasn't a new looking hammer.
I guess we should figure out the weapon first.
The weapon was right there at the scene of the crime!
That pillar, huh?
No, the hammer! The killer used that hammer and beat the crap out of him!
If it was unexpected, I suppose that is possible.
That's right! It was a surprise beating! The weapon is decided!
The hammer in the tower was the weapon. Like he said, it looks like that was the case, but...
I guess we should figure out the weapon first.
The weapon was right there at the scene of the crime!
That pillar, huh?
No, the hammer! The killer used that hammer and beat the crap out of him!
No, that's wrong.
That's wrong!
No, that's wrong! Damn it, I got the wrong voice.
No, I can't accept that hammer was the murder weapon.
Why not? Why can't you accept it?
A lot of oil was flowing from Nekomaru's body.
Wait,
Just like human blood, right?
like it's a new looking hammer, but I forgot that. Yeah, blood.
If the hammer was used to beat Nekomaru, you'd expect some oil to be on it at least.
Like the pillar.
But that hammer was clean. So that's why you can't accept that it's the murder weapon.
Well, yeah, but the killer might have wiped off the oil later.
Why?
Well, obviously, to make the hammer look like it's not the murder weapon.
Then why bother cleaning the oil? If they didn't want it to look suspicious, they would have discarded the hammer.
You're pretty insightful, baby gangsta.
Baby gangster? Me?
Right, I feel like this wasn't a joke to you, Akane, earlier.
Just so y'all know, I was trying to test you guys. I thought, maybe you guys mistook the hammer for the weapon or something.
It seems that was a waste of time.
Then what was the real weapon used to murder Nekomaru?
That's the problem. There wasn't anything else at the crime scene that looked like a potential weapon.
Then, how about we look at it from a different angle? If it doesn't have oil on it, it's not the weapon. So whatever has oil on it must be the weapon, right?
Like the pillar. The actual weapon has oil on it. The broken pillar.
I see!
The only thing with oil on it is that broken pillar.
Then that pillar is the weapon! Coach Nekomaru got clobbered with that pillar!
Nobody could withstand a blow from that pillar. Even if you used 100% of your muscle strength, it would be impossible to wield it as a weapon.
Why?
We tried to move it, right?
Right. I know we saw these at the time, but cover arts.
Yeah, that pillar was pretty frickin' heavy. But there's one dude who could have lifted that pillar.
Huh? Who are you talking about?
Nekomaru.
Coach Nekomaru's robot body! With that dude's super strength, lifting a pillar would be real easy.
So, he lifted the pillar, and then what? Did he use it to beat himself?
You mean Nekomaru killed himself?
Don't be stupid! He ain't the type to commit suicide!
Then even if Nekomaru could have lifted that pillar, it has nothing to do with the case at all.
Well, I guess you're right.
What the heck?
But it does bother me a little. The word suicide. Yes, yeah, I'm so glad you. No, that shouldn't matter. There's no way Nekomaru would commit suicide.
But that's a problem. If it's not the pillar, then there's no other weapon we can think of.
There may be a way to use the pillar as a weapon without lifting it.
Throwing him into it.
Huh? For reals?
You swing him round like by a wire.
Yes, for reals.
I see. So my gut was right after all. All right, it's up to you, Sonia. Prove that pillar was the murder weapon.
Understood. Then I shall give it my all. Sonia, here I go!
Make your argument.
There's no need to lift that pillar.
If the pillar was not lifted, beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over? They aimed right for his head and bullseye.
Even I could probably tip it over.
Considering the pillar's weight, it probably exerted a ton of force.
Sonia, you go, girl! I'm getting hella excited!
The killer murdered Nekomaru by tipping over that pillar. Is that really it?
There's no need to lift that pillar.
If the pillar was not lifted, beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over?
Damn it!
There's no need to lift that pillar.
If the pillar was not lifted, beating him with it is beyond a dream.
What about tipping the pillar over? They aimed right for his head and bullseye.
Even I could probably tip it over.
Considering the pillar's weight, it probably exerted a ton of force.
Sonia, you go, girl!
Okay, oil on the floor. Oh, hang on. You know what? It should just let you... yeah, pillar fragments.
There's no need to lift that pillar.
If the pillar was not beating him with it is beyond...
What about tipping the pillar over?
No, that's wrong!
No, that's wrong!
If Nekomaru was crushed by the pillar, then there should have been fragments on top of his body.
Huh? Fragments?
The pillar fragments were scattered beneath Nekomaru's body, but there weren't any on top of his body. If the pillar had been tipped over and crushed him, the fragments should have been on top of his body instead.
I briefly considered that too. But it's probably not what happened.
I see. That was entirely my bad.
If they didn't tip it over, then how did the killer murder Nekomaru with that pillar?
How much longer are you gonna focus on the pillar? Just let it go already!
There's no way I can let it go. I'm positive that Nekomaru was killed by that pillar.
Why are you so certain about that?
The blood?
I just have a feeling.
A feeling, huh? That's just your instincts.
But we can't say for sure that that instinct is wrong, can we?
Ah?
There's another way to use that pillar to kill. You guys just haven't noticed it.
Is that true?
Then I shall ask you, what way is that?
Swing Nekomaru into the pillar.
You guys, the same as usual. You're unable to clear a path to the future with your own powers.
I've got
So
the
you
answer
just
right here.
stand there and falter. What a waste of talent. And you all intend to fight the Future Foundation? You make me laugh.
We didn't say we were going to fight the Future Foundation.
What did you say?
Regardless, it's not like I want to die with the rest of you. So I guess I should lend a hand.
Hey, Nagito. What the hell happened to you? How come you're not talking like a lunatic anymore?
Oh, he is.
I've learned a valuable lesson. Ignorance is by far the greatest shame.
Huh? What do you mean?
Who cares? Just tell us how the pillar was used to kill.
Well, first of all, the pillar itself is not enough.
You'd need wire?
But when combined with a specific item, there's a way it could be possible.
A specific item?
Of course, the ultimate weapon.
Ultimate weapon?
Isn't that the thing you get when you clear the final dead room?
So, Nagito knows what the ultimate weapon is?
Of course I know, but I'm pretty sure everyone else has seen it, you know?
The wire?
We've seen it?
That's right. You've seen it clearly. Because I, the one who has claimed dominion over evil, am the ultimate weapon. I am he who cuts the insolent catalyst which flows out from the chaos with the sword of victory.
No, I don't think it's Gundam anymore. Oh no. I'm not sure how long the episode is, because I'll keep going. I love that sword of victory, chaos, and catalyst are in yellow as if they're important terms.
It's only fitting that I deserve to be called the ultimate weapon.
No, you are far greater than the ultimate weapon, since you wield your 4 dark devas of destruction.
I see.
I don't know why, but I'm not liking this.
Cut the bullshit and say it clearly. What is the ultimate weapon?
The wire?
In order to clarify that, we first need to solve the secret of the Funhouse.
Ooh, we have a title for the episode. Hang on, it'd be ultimate weapon, wouldn't it? Sorry, I'm just typing it in. Cool.
Huh? The secret of the Funhouse?
You still don't realize it? Jeez, get it together. You're supposed to be the symbols of hope, aren't you? Ah, I forgot. Except for Hajime, of course.
Except for Hajime?
If we make it out of this, I'll explain it to you guys.
Anyway, we must first clarify the secret of the Funhouse, right? Then I think it must have something to do with the structure of the Funhouse.
Oh, yes, that.
Strawberry House leads to Strawberry Tower, and Grape House leads to Grape Tower. But in actuality, they are both the same building, and both houses are linked to the central tower. It is undeniable that such a sweet building structure is the secret of the Funhouse.
Man, not only does that make perfect sense, but Miss Sonia's beautiful voice is just so soothing.
Faux show! I shall leave this matter to your discretion.
Damn it. It's cold. The two houses are connected to the tower in the middle. I thought that first too, but I ended up finding proof that completely contradicts that. It's the strange feeling in the tower and Fuyuhiko's account.
In truth, Strawberry Tower and Grape Tower are actually the exact same place.
So that's the secret of the Funhouse.
Is that really it?
It's weird to say they're both the same place. I mean, the walls are different colors. And the designs on the floor are also different.
We've already settled this problem.
Hang on, what's Fuyuhiko's account? No.
Give it 10 years before you argue with Miss Sonia.
In truth, Strawberry Tower and Grape Tower are actually the exact same place.
No, that's wrong.
That's wrong.
Both of those towers, are they really the same place?
Why are you asking that now? Do you harbor a grudge because my kingdom destroyed your homeland?
What, you what?
Hajime, I won't tolerate any sort of rebellion.
I mean, doesn't it seem strange? When we went to Grape Tower from Grape Hall, Nekomaru's body was in front of the door to Strawberry Hall. But when we went to Strawberry Tower from Strawberry Hall, his body was in front of the door to Grape Hall.
It's probably some kind of trick, like the floor rotating 180 degrees or something. If it is, then see? That means it could have passed as the exact same place, right?
If so, then what? Do you seriously think such a simple answer is the correct answer?
In real life, that's how that works, yes, but... whatever.
Does that mean he's wrong?
Oops, I guess I've said too much.
If the floor didn't rotate, then that means we need to think about the structure of the building again.
Bow down! Then how about this? Somebody moved Nekomaru's body.
Well, we were moving from Grape Tower to Strawberry Tower, but we should have all been together during that time. Even if they tried to move the body inside the tower.
Then Monokuma did it. While we were moving, Monokuma quickly moved things around.
But Nekomaru's body wasn't the only thing moved. Are you saying the broken pillar was moved too?
If it is too heavy to carry, let them roll it. Just like if there is no bread, let them eat cake.
You know that phrase? So, the phrase, Marie Antoinette, if there's no bread, let them eat cake. They don't have cake either. We're talking about peasants. Peasants will starve, for there is no bread. Oh, if there's no bread, let them eat cake. Now, whether or not she said that is down to debate. The point is, that line doesn't make any sense because it assumes that they have cake. That's the joke, not the joke, but that's the point of the line, that she's ignorant in how poor people are. Anyway. Rebuttal showdown! Where's the doorknob?
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could have been rolled. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time. That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
It seems you have forgotten. Monokuma is surprisingly strong. Wielding the pillar, the body, he could have moved it all easy as pie.
Damn it!
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could have been rolled. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Damn it.
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could have been rolled. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
No, run out of cuts!
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar and Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time. That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
I need to read what she actually says.
It seems you have forgotten. Monokuma is surprisingly strong, wielding the power of the futuristic rope, the pillar, the body, everything at the crime scene. He could have moved it all easy as pie.
Oil on the floor. I hate that it makes me retreat.
Damn it!
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. The pillar could have been rolled. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time. That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
It seems you have forgotten. Monokuma is surprisingly strong. Wielding the power of the pillar, he could have moved it up easy as pie.
Damn it!
There are many different ways. The body and the pillar could have been moved. And Nekomaru could have been moved piece by piece. I decree it was Monokuma's doing.
Moving the body and the pillar in such a short time.
Right.
That might be hard even for Monokuma, don't you think?
It seems you have forgotten. Monokuma is surprisingly strong. Wielding the power of the pillar, the body, everything at the
Allow me to cut through those words!
Allow me to cut through those words!
Moving the body and pillar is possible, but it would have been impossible to move the oil on the floor.
Huh?
When the position of Nekomaru's body and the pillar changed, the oil surrounding his body moved too. Physically moving all of the oil like that is simply not possible, no matter how you look at it.
Then it's impossible to think it was moved.
That doesn't rule out the rotating room, but whatever.
I am terribly sorry. I cannot believe I got so fired up.
It's all right. A fired up Miss Sonia is awesome to watch.
So what really happened? Does that mean the two towers aren't the same building?
We can't be certain of that either. Not when the experiment involving the handbook I left on the tower floor was a complete success.
Yeah, the E-handbook was still there. That's why we thought the two towers were the same building.
If they're not the same building or two different buildings, then what are they?
No idea, huh?
The mystery ties into the secret of the Funhouse. But we don't have enough clues to solve that mystery. And the only thing we can do is rely on one person who has those clues. Hey!
Nagito.
Oh yeah, so I don't have to read.
I thought it would come to this. I knew my turn was coming up.
You're the only person who went into the bloody room!
Fine. I'll tell you guys a big hint that can help you solve the secret of the Funhouse.
Give us the answer, not a friggin' hint.
But then it wouldn't mean anything. I need you guys to do this class trial properly.
You're in the class trial.
It's also important for me because it will help me determine something.
Determine! Is he talking about the traitor? If so, why did Nagato say that all of a sudden? Did something happen to him?
But how do we know your hint is any good? It's suspicious that you're the only one who knows it.
I have a good reason for that. The reason I'm the only one who knows it is because I was the only one who performed the appropriate action.
You performed the appropriate action. You did the life-threatening game.
I see!
You're talking about the final dead room, right? You cleared the life-threatening game there and found something, didn't you?
That's right. The hint is what I saw after I cleared it. In the depths of the final dead room, there was a hidden room surrounded by concrete. And there, a small conspicuous window waited, all by itself. From that window, I saw some very strange scenery.
Strange scenery?
So this video might go on long because I can't call it Secret of the Funhouse and not reveal the secret of the Funhouse, can I?
Instead of explaining it, it might be faster just to show you. At an opportune time, I found a perfect camera in the final dead room.
You took a picture?
Yep.
Nagato grinned creepily as he retrieved a small digital camera from his inner pocket.
See? This is it.
So I'm trying to find my cursor. There we go. As he said that, he showed us a peculiar picture.
Let me explain it to you again.
Okay, so... the lift... clearly there's only one... there's not both corridors on top of each other then? Okay.
I took this picture on the first floor of Strawberry House, from the secret room within the final dead room. But don't you think it's weird? If the Funhouse's structure is what you guys have been thinking,
There should be a corridor over there.
then there's lots of things that don't make sense in this picture, right?
Lots of things that shouldn't make sense in this picture.
Then let's begin. Shall I call it thinking time?
What doesn't make sense in this picture? Right, I'm going to let you go because the episode's long, but I think we always saw the secret of the Funhouse. So I've been John Proxy on Channel West. I've been having a Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair Adventure. Sorry for the first 10-15 minutes where the sound was wrong. It's fixed now. It might happen again, but I'll try. It's because it's my recording device. The software is connected to the recording device, the Elgato. So, I mean, if it breaks, it breaks. I can't really use OBS or anything like that because apparently just Elgato works best with its own software. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.